Hello, I'm Professor Lisa Smith, Head of School here in Criminology at the University of Leicester, and I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak to you. Firstly, congratulations on receiving an offer to study criminology at the university. That's a great achievement, and we hope to be able to welcome you to the school to study this fascinating subject with us. The School of Criminology has been around for over 30 years, and we're one of only a few dedicated schools of criminology in the country, which means our academic staff come from a wide variety of backgrounds, including psychology, law, sociology, anthropology, and social policy. And this gives you the opportunity to learn about criminology from lots of different perspectives and from leaders in these various fields, which is really exciting. So if you join us in September, you'll be joining a community of undergraduates, postgraduates, and world-leading lecturers and researchers. In this session, you'll have a chance to hear from some of the lecturers who you would be meeting during your first year in the school. So to get things started, I'm going to hand you over to Mark, who's our Programme Director for the BSc in Criminology.
Thanks, Lisa, and hi guys. As Lisa said, my name is Mark, and Programme Director is kind of a fancy way to say that I've got oversight to our undergraduate degrees. So if you do join us and accept your offer, then I'm kind of the guy you'll see quite a lot throughout your first year, along with other colleagues, and I also do quite a bit of teaching in the first year as well. Picking up on what Lisa said, if you do join us in September, you'll be joining a really, really vibrant undergraduate community. So we've got over 360 undergraduate students with us at the moment, and we're a truly global school. So we've got students from around the UK, from across the European Union, and then from countries as far afield as Uganda, China, United Arab Emirates, the list goes on. We are a mix of students who come to Leicester and live in Leicester, students who are based in Leicester anyway and come to their local university. But again, we've got students from all over the UK. I'm really proud of our undergraduate degrees, and I'm proud of the really exciting programme that we've put together for our students, which you're going to hear a little bit about in a second. The School of Criminology is based right at the heart of Leicester's campus. If you join us, will be the first students to access our shiny new School of Criminology. So we're literally a couple of seconds away from the Students' Union, from the library, and it's a really exciting and welcoming school with a lot of study spaces, and where all of the staff and students are based. So what I'd like to do now really is hand you over to a number of colleagues who you'll be seeing an awful lot of if you join us in your first year, and these are, as Lisa said, these are the subject experts, the lecturers and the researchers that will be delivering our first year modules. So I'm going to hand you over to Tracy, and Tracy's going to tell you a little bit about theories of crime and about herself.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm an associate professor here at the school, and I've just worked out that I've worked here for 20 years now, so quite a long time. And it's really nice to have this opportunity to speak to you today. In terms of me and what I'm particularly interested in terms of topics, these relate to sort of alcohol-related crime and disorder in particular, but also security management, particularly in relation to theft and fraud. So I've got sort of quite wide-ranging interests there, and I also have an interest in educational research as well, in terms of how students learn effectively, what can be done to kind of improve and support this, particularly in terms of assessment and feedback. In the first year, I'll be part of the team delivering the theories of crime module, and so this module is all about understanding why people commit crime, and we consider a number of theoretical perspectives relating to that, and then kind of think about, okay, well, if that's the case, then how can this help us to prevent crime? You know, because it's important to be able to kind of think through, well, what can we actually do about it then? I think it's a really great module because it's one that you'll kind of need throughout your degree, really. It gives you that real kind of underpinning, as I say, those thinking about why do people commit crime. And it will also help you to be able to answer that question when anyone finds out you're studying criminology and they will say, oh, so why do people commit crime then? And you'll actually be able to say, well, there's a number of explanations, and let me go through them now with you, and you can sound very clever, and you'll know all of that. I also think it's a great module because I think we've got a way of teaching theory that brings it to life for students, and it makes it kind of real and understandable. And we also watch a lot of films throughout this module, and we discuss these in the workshops. And again, it kind of helps us to see theories in action, or kind of real life, even though they're films, obviously. And we know that our students really enjoy these films because they tell us that, and we really enjoy watching the films and discussing those with our students. Thanks.
Hi everyone, so I'm Jo Dawkins, and I've been a lecturer here not as long as Tracy, so I've only been here for 2 years, but I've been a lecturer now for about 14 years. So my kind of area of interest and specialism, if you like, is within policing, and particularly criminal investigation and the use of forensic science within our criminal justice system. And so the module I want to talk to you about today is our Criminal Justice in Action module. And this is a module where we work our way throughout our criminal justice system, looking at lots of the different kind of criminal justice agencies that we come across within criminology. So we start at the beginning looking at a kind of overview of our process, and then we look at each of the agencies in turn. So we learn a lot about the police, and we learn a lot about the CPS and the courts and so on and so forth. Now, I really love this module because obviously it speaks to some of the areas that I'm particularly passionate about. So we learn a lot about policing, and I teach with colleagues that are equally as passionate about other sort of agencies within our criminal justice system, such as prisons and probation and so on. The reason why some of the students really like this module is the fact that it's called Criminal Justice in Action, and it is very much about the action of our criminal justice system. So we go and we visit some of the courts, and we visit the police service and so on and so forth. So there's lots of opportunities involved within this module as well. So if you are able to join us in September, then I look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks, Jo. Very quickly over to Jess, who again will be telling us about Introduction to Criminology this time. Thanks, Jess.
Hello, thanks, Mark. So I'm Jess Irwin. I've been at the University of Leicester for just the 1 year, but I've been lecturing for about 6 years now. And as mentioned, I'll be teaching you, hopefully, if you join us, on the Introduction to Criminology module. And this module is really fun, I think, because it takes the really big ideas that frame all of the other stuff that everyone's been talking about so far, like what is a crime, who is a criminal, how does society decide those things and respond to them. So it's taking these really kind of massive ideas, delving into them, not just from a criminological perspective, but a sociological one, a philosophical one, and doing all of that together and seeing what this means. And for those of you who might think, oh gosh, that sounds big, we do relate it to real world problems and real events. In the past year, we've talked about the Boohoo employment scandal as a way of talking about criminal kind of enterprise and organisational crime. We've talked about the Grenfell Tower disaster as a way of discussing are governments responsible for criminal negligence. So we take these kind of very big issues and talk about them in real world contexts, which is really interesting. And as well, we do talk about a lot of films. The module team in particular has a soft spot for horror. So a lot of that stuff comes up, and it makes our discussions really fun. And it means that students can bring their own ideas and experiences into the teaching, which makes it really involved and exciting, not just for students, but for us as well, because we get to learn from you. So I really hope you join us next year and get to take part in all of this.
Super. Cheers, Jess. And last but definitely not least, I'd like to introduce you all to Dr. Sam King.
Fab. Thanks, Mark. And hello, everyone. And it's a great pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to talk to you, hopefully ahead of you joining us at the University of Leicester in September. So I'm Sam, and I'm an associate professor in criminology. I've been at the University of Leicester for about 9 years now, and I've been lecturing criminology for about 16 years altogether. And the areas that interest me the most are really around how and why we punish people, and what we can do to help individuals who have broken the law to try and rehabilitate and hopefully prevent them from offending in the future. And as we've heard through the conversations about the modules that you could be taking in your first year in criminology, a big part of it is around the criminal justice process and how we respond to lawbreakers. And also, a big part of it is about lawbreakers themselves and the motivations behind why people might commit crime. But the other aspect that we've not touched upon yet in this recording is around victimisation and victims of crime. And so that's the module that I want to just spend a moment or two talking to you about now, because that's the fourth module that you would take in your first year of a BSc Criminology degree, Victims of Crime. And this module is really important because it'll introduce you to some key concepts and theories about victims and victimisation, and also introduce you to some key ideas about how the criminal justice system and society more generally can respond to people who have been victims of crime, and how we can support people in the most appropriate and effective way. And within this module, we take quite a broad approach towards the idea of victimisation. So indeed, we do look at criminal victimisation. For example, we would look at ideas around being the victim of an assault or being the victim of a burglary. But we'd also look at it in a much broader sense. So we would look at much wider social injustices. Jess mentioned around kind of state crime and state involvement in criminality, and we'd look at that in relation to victims of crime, but we'd also consider wider social harms, such as the impact of child poverty or the detention of asylum seekers, for example. So it's a really wide-reaching module. Students really like this module because part of the assessment involves producing a campaign where you can focus on a particular area of victimisation and develop ideas about how you think you would respond to people who've been the victim of a particular crime. So really exciting module and a really useful way of capping off the first year of the degree programme here at Leicester. So there you've had a bit of an insight into some of the things that you would take in the first year of the Criminology degree programme, and we hope that you'd be as excited as we are about the modules that you could be taking and the opportunities that would be available. Thanks very much for listening to this recording, and we hope that you found it useful to meet some of the people that you'll be encountering during the first year of the degree programme and indeed throughout your studies. We know that making the transition to higher education is a bit of a daunting one, and it's a bit of a big step to make, going from school or college or whatever background you've come from into higher education and embarking on your university experience. And we hope that the videos that we've produced have been able to provide you with a useful head start into your degree programme. Please don't forget, there's loads of information on the Head Start webpage and lots of videos and recordings on demand that you can watch in your own time. And please also feel free to get in touch with us. There's lots of different ways you can do that. You can chat to one of our university student ambassadors. You can email the School of Criminology directly, or you can get in touch with the university admissions team. Whichever way you'd prefer, there'll be plenty of people that will be more than happy to answer any queries that you've got and to help with any concerns that you might have. But once again, thanks very much for listening, and on behalf of all of us here in the School of Criminology, we hope to see you again very soon.